reviewing a novel. It's Lee Child's Personal, the new novel in the Jack Reacher series. Became aware of Jack Reacher from the film. Went to see it at the cinema and then saw it on DVD. After watching it 2 or 3 times, got really into the character, and I thought it'd be really good to sort of get back into reading a good, chunky novel, and here's what I thought of it. Even though I can watch films and sort of really just take them in for what they are, when I'm reading books, I think that there's a lot of sort of just like the characters are ciphers and leading you from one place to the next, which is understandable because that's how novels work. But that said, I really thought that the slower parts of the book, because it's a very exciting book about politics and assassinations and things like that, but the quieter moments in the book were what really sold this book to me, and I felt like the characters were well rounded in that regard, and the fact that it was set in England, you could tell that it was sort of written by somebody who knew enough about England to make it realistic, and at the same time you could be from any country and sort of understand what he was talking about. And there was a lots of trivia about and Lee Child's a big fan of trivia, and so am I, and I quite like the fact that he mentioned things like the origins of, say, Boots the Chemist or kebab shops, and some really trivial, inconsequential things when it's this big political story and this big story with loads of intrigue and things like that. I thought that was good, and I'm sure as well, because I became aware of the films before the novels, and everybody was having to go at Tom Cruise's height for some reason, and I'm sure there's loads of little references in this book to that, and this is like one thing that I thought was interesting, so I'm sure this is a dig at all the fans slagging off Tom Cruise's height. It says, the net effect was I felt very small, like I had been shrunk by a mad scientist. Because that's in relation to this room that's huge, this house that's built for a character that's really tall. But my favourite quote in the book, and because it really sums up quite a lot of how the character thinks, and the fact that it's set in England, it's quite a lot of elements all rolled into this one paragraph, but I thought this was quite cool. Casey Nice said, "I'm hungry." I said, "I'm sure there's food on the block. Kebabs, fried chicken, pizza, hamburgers, whatever you want. This place seems to be the fast food capital of the world. Should we get something? Eat when you can, that's the golden rule. Are you hungry? A little. What would you prefer?" "Pizza," I said. "Plain cheese. Smaller chance of rats and pigeons among the ingredients, or cats and dogs. Something to drink. Whatever was made in a factory and comes in a sealed container. Will I be safe? Depends on what you order. I mean, walking round here." I thought that kind of sums up the old novel and how it was all put together. This might be a little bit obscure because I only ever saw it in one shop in the UK, but for anybody who's interested, and I should imagine anybody who's watching this or got the novel will be, you can be a character in the next Jack Reacher book. It's for blinkboxbooks.com, and if you go to the website and you can answer a question, the answer is Casey Nice, by the way. You type in your name, your closest city, you could be a character in the next Jack Reacher novel. Cool, eh? I thought the book, and it's not just a clever name, was quite personal. How it starts off with just something as simple as Jack Reacher's got to find a payphone, and then just how he gets caught up in this huge kind of international thing, but felt really contained and sort of concise, and it really was, even though it's 300-page novel, I thought that there was enough to keep sort of me really, I know it's a cliche to say interested, but it did make me want to get to the end of the book, and it was kind of quirky right until the end, and I'm looking forward to the new Tom Cruise movie. Don't care what all the Tom Cruise haters say out there, should be a good film, not based on this book, based on Never Go Back, so looking forward to that. 4 out of 5, go buy it.